Hey, what's going on, everybody? Let me know if you can see me and hear me. Let me know what the audio is looking like here. Um, I'm using some new software here, so kind of testing things out here, doing a little um, troubleshooting, if you will. So let me know if you guys can see me and hear me correctly. Um, let's see. Give me thumbs up if you can see and if you can hear me. If everything is good on my end. Let's see. Thumbs up if you can see and hear. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Let me switch over here. Okay, got some thumbs up. Got some thumbs up. Okay, give me a second here. I'm gonna switch Wi-Fi over. Thing. Trying to get everything correctly. Let's see. Show on stream. Okay. Let me know if you guys can see me, hear me. Let me know if I'm good. Just want to make sure that I'm okay here. Okay. Seems that I'm okay. All right. So man, it's been a while. Been a while since I live streamed. I think the last time that I live streamed was right after the playoff game, if I'm not mistaken. That was that was yeah, that was a hell of a day, hell of a weekend. I think that was the last time that I live streamed, but I'm back here. I wanted to come on here and live stream, right? I've been making videos. You guys been seeing. I've been dropping videos every day, but there's just so much news as far as free agency is concerned, and it's not even really officially open yet. The new league year starts tomorrow, so all of the moves and stuff that have been made, they're in advance of the league new year, right? This is like the legal tampering period, so we're not even really officially at the starting point yet. So that's interesting. There's a lot going on. This is free agency is it's almost like the NBA free agency now. There's so much movement going on. There's trades happening. Guys are getting cut as well too. This is really a whirlwind. So I had to come on here and go live so that way I can give my thoughts in a more clear and concise fashion as opposed to making 20 videos tonight and trying to figure out when I should post them. So I think this is a more streamlined way of addressing everything here. So I wrote down I wrote down some topics here. I didn't write down any notes. I'm just going to give my thoughts, but kind of wanted to get this going in at least somewhat organized fashion. So we're gonna get to Austin Ekeler. First, though, let's talk about Trey Pipkins. Trey Pipkins is the first person that I'm going to be talking about here. Trey Pipkins is to me, he right now he's a top 10 right tackle. I believe. I made videos on him earlier in the season. He was dealing with some injuries, and he still found a way to fight, right, and he was able to play the right tackle position at a very high level this year. There was no question who the right tackle was going to be week in and week out. So when you look at the signing for Trey Pipkins, it's a great signing. This is the best signing that the Chargers have made so far. Like in this free agency, they haven't made a lot, but this is the best signing that they have made. 3 years, and I think the annual value is like $7 million a year. So if Trey Pipkins continues to get better, if he continues to improve, which I think he will, right? I think that he will improve. He's somebody that he went out on his own to improve, right? He didn't just rely on, whoever the offensive line coach was. He didn't rely on just getting better in the building. He went out on his own and got better. I think I covered that at some point, right? He went to go work with Rashawn Slater and his trainer. So he was able to get better, become a better player, become a better individual player, right? That allowed him to, hold up his end on the right side. Before then, right, I talked about it in 2021. He wasn't all that good, right? And then the preseason of 2021, I thought it was it. I thought that was it for him. I thought his time as a Charger was over. That last preseason game in 2021 against the Seahawks, he was like a revolving door. Worse, one of the worst games I've ever seen a tackle play. But for him to be in this position now, where he's resigning on a 3-year deal, I think this is the best move that the Chargers could possibly make. And honestly, it's the right move, right? You want to be able to have that continuity on the offensive line. You really don't want to shuffle the offensive line. I know they had some injuries last year, but when they were healthy, they played pretty well. So you have to you have to give them credit for bringing him back. I think he's happy to be back. And again, I think if he continues to improve, the Chargers can have the best bookends as far as tackles in the league, right? You got Rashawn Slater, he's holding down things on the left side. You know what he does. And then you have Trey Pipkins, right, who has continued to evolve, continue to get better. This is a good signing. Very, very good signing. Very, very, very good signing. I love it. And I don't have anything else to say about that. It's a great signing, and I'm glad that they finally got that done. There was a lot of talk about where the Chargers were going to go, right? And I was to make videos. If the Chargers didn't sign off the table now with Trey Pipkins being signed. So I don't really have to worry about that anymore. But there was some question, right? There was some question. I thought they should have taken care of him. This is a deal that you really had to look at and say, damn, they could have offered him this like immediately after the season, right? They didn't really have to go. But I think the Chargers wanted to do their due diligence. They've spent so much money these past to do their where the market was. I don't think that they were going to offer him anything over market. $500,000 for tackles, right? So again, good move, great move by the Chargers. I love it, and I think it's a move that is going to help the offense. A lot of people are going to forget about it, but it's going to help the offense. It's going to help the offensive line stay in that mold, right? Stay consistent. They come out, they have another good season. They're going to have another good season next year under Kellen Moore. They're going to be all of them, or all five are pretty much going to be back, right? Minus Matt Feiler, but they're going to have some continuity on that offensive line, and they're going to be able to really do some damage, I think, in the run game. So that all started with them re-signing Trey Pipkins. So I'm very, very happy about that. Very, very happy about it. So what's up? I got some comments here. Let's see. I'll read some of these right now in between segments. I want to segment it out a little bit. Let's see. So somebody says, dude, Johnson and Kendricks, almost like we're trying to appease our defensive coach who's on the hot seat and not prioritize our young stud quarterback. I feel this the exact same way. I honestly do. I feel the exact same way. I think the Kendrick signing, though, I'm going to get to that. That's something that I am going to cover. I think the Kendrick signing, though, was necessary. I honestly do. I think it was necessary. You gotta if you're not going to resign Drew Tranquill, you got to go out and you got to find somebody else to replace him. So I think that was necessary. The Johnson thing, if I don't understand that. I really don't understand that. I'm going to get to that a little later as well too. I don't want to spoil it all right now in the beginning of the stream. But yes, I agree with you. I agree with your sentiments. Definitely feel the same way. Let's see. Adam F says Chargers release Feiler. Did they officially release Matt Feiler? Hopefully they did. I hope that they did. Hopefully they released him. Yeah, this was a move that was coming, right? Everybody knew that it was coming. They knew that they were going to release Matt Feiler if they were going to be able to come to terms with Trey Pipkins. They finally came to terms with him. So now Matt Feiler is a guy that is expendable. So, this is not a surprise for anybody. Right? I don't think anybody should be surprised by it. But this is what the Chargers were waiting for, though. So um, it's it is what it is, right? This is a tough business, and you have to be able to prove yourself year in and year out. If you don't prove yourself year in and year out, then you're gonna have some struggles, right? And you're not gonna last long with one team. And I think Matt Feiler had a very good 2021 season, but last year he was a little up and down. So we'll see what happens there. But I haven't seen the news come up yet officially, but I haven't even been on Twitter either. I've been setting up for the stream, but yeah, that wouldn't be a surprise, would not be a shock at all to see that they have officially cut Matt Feiler. So yeah, it was definitely something that is expected. It's expected at this point. Bear Nip says, Eckler, please don't leave us. He deserves to get paid, man. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree to some degree. But like I said, though, it's a business. It really is. This is a business. So these type of things happen all the time, right? We always thought that LT would be a Charger, but he ended up, wearing another uniform afterwards. So this kind of stuff happens. It just happens. Let's see. You think we could go after Miles Sanders if we trade Eck? Possibly. There's a possibility. The running back class is loaded. There's a lot of talent in the running back class, a free agent class. There's also going to be some talent in the draft as well too. The Chargers are going to have literally their pick of the litter when it comes to running back. So if the Austin Ekeler trade does get completed, they're not going to have to look very far to find a pretty decent back. So I'm definitely looking forward to who they're targeting, right? Who they're looking at now. Maybe is it somebody right now? Do they want to pay somebody in free agency, or do they want to get somebody in the draft, right? You're obviously going to get a much cheaper, bargain price in the draft, but we'll see what happens. We'll see how they navigate this. I think that they go the way of the draft just because of the way the financials look right now, but we'll see. We'll see. Favorite Chargers YouTube analyst, Richard Vidal. Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that very much. Thank you. Sawyer at left guard. Yeah, and that if Matt Feiler has indeed been cut, yes, Sawyer will be at left guard. So that's definitely going to be something you can look forward to there. Great show, my guy. Keep it up. God bless. Cornell Jones. Thank you. I appreciate that. Really appreciate it. Let's see. I'm going to go down here and let's see. Richard Soto-san, thank you for the super chat, sir. Enjoying your no BS analysis of the Chargers. Keep up the good work. Thank you. I appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm just trying to pump out as much content as I can. There's so much news now. I'm a one-man team, so there's so much of it that I try to cover, but there's a lot going on, and stuff going on as we speak now. So yeah, it's going right now. It's going. Richard Vidal, you always keep it real. Love your content. Thank you. Appreciate it. I appreciate that very much. Let's see if I can get down here to all the way down to the bottom. Make sure I catch up. Okay, catch up. Yeah, see, I'm catching up here. Good. Somebody says draft B. John Robinson. It's on the table. Definitely on the table right now. Definitely on the table. So let me first. I want to check and make sure. I heard that the cut was made with Matt Feiler. Yeah, so Matt Feiler has been cut officially. I'm seeing it now here. I'm seeing it from a couple analysts here. Ian Rappaport, yeah. So, yeah, he's been released. He had a $8.5 million cap hit for 2023, and I covered this. I think the Chargers save about $6 million with that. So, I'm going to now. Let's see. I'm going to bring up this. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can. So Daniel Popper has the spreadsheet, right, of the Chargers finances, and let me see if that's not a good. Can't really see it. You can't really see it that well, but So yeah, now the Chargers with that cut after the Trey Pipkins signing and the Matt Feiler cut, the Chargers now have about $9.8 million in cap space that they can spend. They have about 16 million total in space, but some of that money is budgeted for draft picks. Some of it is budgeted for in-season emergencies. So they have about almost $10 million to spend right now. So I mean, I don't know if you're looking at some bargain basement deals with a couple players, then that is definitely doable. Possibly maybe one player that they maybe give a $5 or $6 million contract to. I don't know, but we're looking at maybe one or two more guys that they can sign. The John Johnson thing is out there. I don't like it at all, but it's out there. So that's definitely something to look out for. But yeah, $9.8 million to spend right now in spending space. Yeah, and the Chargers, they have some holes, but I don't. I'm just afraid that this money is going to be wasted on more defense when it's not needed. I think the Eric Kendricks signing was needed, but I just don't. I don't. I just hope that it's not. I hope that it's not defense. I hope that they don't spend this on defense. I hope they don't waste it on defense. Okay, so now let's get to the Austin Ekeler situation. Let's transition to this. I wanted to cover this. I was going to make a video about it, but I decided to hold off until we got on here and got on this live stream. So the Austin Ekeler situation, you guys obviously know how this is going, right? You know how it went down. You know how it started. Now, everything that I have gathered from this situation, I don't think a lot of people know, but it's been put out there, and I don't know if it's actually been confirmed, but I heard from a couple of sources that he put this trade request out there kind of as a motivating tactic to get the Chargers to pay him, right? So basically, a couple of weeks ago, I guess that's when he and his camp they restarted contract negotiations with the Chargers, and he basically went on and said, okay, if we can't get to a number that we can agree on, then I would like a trade. I want to trade. So they acknowledged that. Then they went into negotiations. They didn't come up on a good number for both of them. And so now they are giving him permission to seek a trade. So him and his people are contacting other teams, to see what, they can do for him, right, as far as a contract extension goes, but also see, what they're going to be willing to give up to get him, right, to get Austin Ekeler. So situation is something that is it's common, right? This is common. It happens all the time. I think, as fans, right, when it happens to one of our players, we're like, oh man, Austin Ekeler, we don't want to lose him. But at the same time, this is business. And Austin Ekeler, I have nothing bad to say about Austin Ekeler. He's been very, very good for the Chargers. He's been a guy, he goes out, he plays injured. I have nothing but good things to say about Austin Ekeler, and I think that he should get paid. But this is the crossroads that we're at, right? As far as the salary cap goes, right? The Chargers went crazy last year. We got to remember 2022, Tom Telesco, Brandon Staley, they went out there, they got a bunch of guys, right? They did what the Chargers never do, spend money. They spent money mostly on defense. They got a bunch of guys, and now it's time to pay the piper, right? Pretty much time to pay the piper, and the Chargers cannot afford to keep Austin Ekeler for the money that he wants. Now, I think his cap hit this year is like $6 million, right? So it's nothing crazy. It's not breaking the bank. I haven't heard. I haven't seen anything up until when I was doing some last minute research about 45 minutes ago. I haven't heard a dollar figure where he's at. Right? He's at 6 million. I don't know. Does he want 8 million? Is he closer to 10 million? I'm not sure what he wants, but I do know that he does want to raise, right? Obviously, and that's something that the Chargers cannot give him going forward. So they are going to trade him. If you're a fan of Austin Ekeler, just get it in your head now. The Chargers will be trading him. He will not be back with the Chargers. They're going to trade him. Now, what they trade him for is yet to be determined. I think you can get you can probably get a solid fourth round pick, depending on who the team is. You might even be able to get a third round pick. You might even be able to get a third round pick just depending on who the team is. And I'm basing this off of the trade that happened earlier in the day. Darren Waller from the Raiders, he got traded to the Giants for one third-round pick. I believe it's the 100th overall pick in the draft. Uh, that's that was shocking to me. That was surprising. There wasn't any other picks, just one pick. Any other team, I think if you asked all the other 31 teams to do that, any of them would do it in a heartbeat. A third round pick for Darren Waller. He was a little injured last year, but that guy, when he's right and when he's, healthy, he is the second best tight end in the league behind Travis Kelce. He's a matchup nightmare. He's fast, he's big, he's physical. He can do all of that stuff. So for the Raiders to let him go, let a guy like that go for a third round pick, I think that's probably where the bargaining will be at, a third round pick. The Chargers see that and they think Austin Ekeler has been way more consistent than Darren Waller, right? Even though they play different positions, he's been way more consistent. His stats, obviously, through the roof, over the past, 3 years or whatever, right? He's been Mr. Fantasy Football, right? He's scoring touchdowns. He's catching a lot of passes. His productivity, cannot be questioned at all. So when you look at that trade, I think the Chargers front office, I think they're looking at it like, okay, well, if Darren Waller goes for a third round pick, and he was injured last year. He had an off season last year. You look at Austin Ekeler, 20 touchdowns again last year. We can easily get a third round pick for him. So I think that they're looking at that third round pick. I was saying fourth round yesterday, but I think you can probably get a third rounder. And if the Chargers are able to get a third rounder for Austin Ekeler, I would consider that a win. I would really consider it a win because at this point, you really can't do anything, right? He has his mind made up. He has his mindset that he wants to get paid, and he should. He has outperformed his contract, right? He really has. He deserves whatever money he gets. It just sucks that it can't be with the Chargers because they are pot committed on way too many guys. Going forward, right? 2024, and even going, further than that, they're pot committed to a bunch of guys. Justin Herbert hasn't signed his deal yet either. So, they're budgeting a lot of money out, right? And then when you look at all of the contract restructure, especially in 2024, there would be no way they would be able to get Austin Ekeler under contract for a price that he wants, right? For an amount that he wants. So at this point, you just have to move on from him now. You got to move on from him. He's getting up there in age as far as running backs go, right? Running back is kind of like dog years. I think he's 28 now. He's played a lot of football, right? He's taken a lot of hits. And, you wonder how much prime football does he have left? I think he has maybe one or two prime years left. He is a workout guy, right? He keeps his body right. So I do think that he will be able to play longer than most running backs. But as far as prime football, I don't think he has all that much left. So overpaying for him would be a mistake, in my opinion. Again, this is a business. I love Austin Ekeler as much as anybody else, but this is a business. And when it comes to making these decisions, right, it's very, very hard. It's very difficult. He's a fan favorite. He's somebody that everybody loves. But at this point, you kind of have to move on from him. And there's nothing wrong with it. Just the way that the NFL works, it's a hard salary cap. And, you just have to you have to bite the bullet at some point. You can't keep everybody, you can't pay everybody great money. So this is what the NFL looks like. This is what the business of the NFL looks like. And, it is what it is, right? You have to come to grips. You have to come to terms with it as a fan. The players have to come to terms with it, right? They're moving around the country and stuff. But it is what it is. The Chargers, they just cannot afford to pay him. Now, as far as landing spot, I think that there are several teams that could use the services of Austin Ekeler. Just the way that he is now, right? He doesn't have to do anything. But there's a bunch of teams who can use his services. And there's a bunch of teams who are going to have some money to pay him as far as, a salary that he might want. So obviously, I think the first team is probably the Detroit Lions. When you look at their team, I think he would excel in Detroit. And I'm kind of hoping that he does go there because personally, just as a fan and as a fan of his, I want to watch him there. That offense last year was very, very good. They were very fun to watch. Their offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, he's coming back. He pulled his name out of the head coaching carousel very, very early in the process. So he was committed to the Lions. He wants to come back. They have a very, very talented unit on offense. Their offensive line, they finally have an offensive line there. Their offensive line can block. I think they're going to lose their running back, Jamal Williams. I think they're going to lose him in free agency. So if that happens, I think they're gonna, they're gonna try their best to replace him. I think he had like 16 or 17 rushing touchdowns last year, so he's looking for a payday as well too. So they might lose him. So I think Austin Ekeler could fit in there. Him catching the ball out of the backfield, right? Screens, all of that type of stuff. I think he would be very, very good with the Lions. I think if he was to go to the Lions, I think it puts them at a favorite in the NFC. What are they? NFC North, right? I think they might be a favorite in the NFC North if they were to get Austin Ekeler, because you got to think uh, uh, um, St. Brown. Um, I can't remember the other kid's name. The receiver they have. I know they have Jameson Williams coming back off of injury. They have some weapons there. They have some weapons, and they're getting better. So I think that they can really, really do some damage if they were to get Austin Ekeler on their team. So I think Detroit probably is the best spot for him right now. I know there's a lot of talk about the Commanders. The Commanders, they got a bunch of money. They're going to be paying a rookie quarterback. They didn't re-sign Taylor Heineke. They're going to have a bunch of money. Eric Bieniemy is there as the offensive coordinator. So I'm sure that, Ekeler would be good under him. He's a former running back, former Charger running back himself. So I think he would be good there as well. I think those two places fit him really well. I think a sleeper place that I'm looking at for him is Cincinnati. And I don't know if the Chargers will make that trade with Cincinnati because they're in the AFC. I'm sure they want to get him out of the AFC altogether. But if they can't, Cincinnati is going to be a spot. Cincinnati is going to need some running backs. Samaje Perine just signed with the Broncos, a 2-year deal. I can't remember how much it was worth, but he's gone. When you look at Joe Mixon, all of his activities over the offseason, right? He's been into some crazy stuff this offseason. Real like John Morant hood type of stuff, just out of nowhere, guns and fights and all this type of stuff. There's no telling how long he's going to be in Cincinnati or whether or not they cut him, right? Because I think his cap number is more than they feel comfortable with it too. So he might be gone. Cincinnati might have an opening for a actual starting running back, and he could thrive there as well too. They obviously have a lot of weapons on offense. Joe Burrow's there, so I think he can thrive there. There are some places that Austin Ekeler can have some success outside of the Chargers, but I think it's over, right? When a guy comes in and he says he wants out, you got to give him out, man. You have to give him out. You have to give him his wish, right? And he's not being, obnoxious about it or whatever. This is strictly business. This is strictly business to him. And I can appreciate that, right? I can appreciate it. He's not, out there trashing anybody in the media. It's just strictly business. He wants out. Just get him out. Get him somewhere where he can get paid. This is probably going to be his last payday, right? His last big payday of his career. He is a running back, right? His career is probably going to be, much shorter than any of the receivers plays with. He's his round pick is squarely on the table. Now, can you get negotiated down to a 4th round pick? Possibly, right? Maybe a 4th and a 7th. Is that possible? Yes, I do think it is. But I think, when you're looking at the situation, right, 3rd round pick definitely is on the table. And if not, a 4th and a 7th, but you got to get compensation back from them. The Chargers need as many draft picks they can get with everybody's, salary, seeming to rise. So they need as many cheap draft picks as they can get, and it works out. It works out. Just get them out of town. Again, running back kid is robust. There's going to be some talent in the draft as well too. So we'll see what happens in that situation. But yeah, Ekeler, man, he has to go, man. He has to go. He wants to get paid, and it is what it is. It's the nature of the beast. It's the business, and it's something that has to happen at this point, unfortunately. And I know we all love him, but hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. Let's see. Let me get to some of these comments here. Let's see. Aiden says, totally cool. Totally cool with Ekeler leaving. It's just scary to lose a weapon while we continue to overvalue defense. Yeah, what top 4 defensive team has made it to the Super Bowl with the Eagles in the past 4 years? None at all. You have to have offense, and that's what I say all the time, and that's what I say on this channel so much. Offense. The Chargers need offense. I'm I'm going to get to the John Johnson thing in a little bit, but yeah, it seems that the Chargers are freeing up money for that. And I just think it's a stupid move. I think it's a ridiculous stupid move, and I'm gonna cover it. I'm gonna give you reasons why it's a stupid move. But I hope that's not where they're throwing the money. But I mean, it just we'll see. We'll see what happens coming up. If they're gonna pay guys on defense, even with this little bit of money that the Chargers have, they better go heavy offense in the draft. That's all I got to say. They don't need any more defense. They don't need to allocate any more resources towards defense. Staley has everything that he needs. If he can't win with all those guys on defense, he does not have any business being the head coach. I'll repeat it. Brandon Staley cannot win with all those guys, all those former all pros that we have on defense. If he cannot win with those guys, he has no business being the head coach in the NFL. Because it's getting to a point where it's ridiculous. Now you're just stockpiling defensive guys to not succeed, right? It's kind of stupid, very, very stupid. Let's see. Original one says Ekeler is Herbert's security blanket. Man, he's the only one that can actually helps Herbert and not just a fancy name on the IR bench. Yeah, I mean, I agree, but it's at a point now where it's either pay him or trade him, and that's where we're at. And the Chargers have made it clear they're not going to pay him, so they need to trade him. There's no need in having that guy around if they're not going to pay him. They just get him out of town, right? He's been good. He's been a good character guy, right? He's done everything that the Chargers have asked. So if they're not going to pay him now, just trade him. Let him go somewhere where he's going to get money. There's no need in holding on to a disgruntled player. That's not what you want. That the locker room will suffer for that. So can't really do that. Cornell says, when is Justin going to get some help? Enough with Staley in his defense. I agree. And it's just it's getting worse. It's getting worse by the minute. And the fact that the Chargers are not all in on offense is very scary. Very, very scary. Let's see. Frankie Sanchez, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. I think we need to use at least a day 2 pick or semi big signing on O-line depth. Yeah, we have nothing after the 5. I agree with that. Definitely agree with that. Yeah, what we had last year was not good enough. The backups last year, Will Clapp was the backup center. He ended up getting hurt at some point too. Who was that? Brendan Hymas. No business being on the roster. Foster Sarrell. I mean, these guys were awful. These guys were terrible. Yeah. So that money should, and I Frankie, you're 100% right. And if the Chargers do actually sign John Johnson, I'm gonna be pissed. And I might make a video about this because you're absolutely right. Because the depth on this offensive line that's what pretty much killed the Chargers in the middle of the season last year. If you guys remember, right, when Herbert, I think it was that stretch of about 5 games where he was getting the snot beat out of him almost every single game. He was getting beat up. And he was getting beat up by teams that are not all that great on the defensive line as well, too. I think back to the Raider game, right, where he got hit a bunch, right, going up against Jerry Tillery. They obviously have Max Crosby, but they don't really have anything else, right, outside of that. Chandler Jones shows up every now and then. Not all that great, right? They don't have the greatest defensive line. They whooped the Chargers. They whooped their backups because the Chargers had no depth on the offensive line at backup. And you're 100% right. That has to be of extreme importance. You're 100%. I couldn't agree more. Great comment. Let's see. Did John Johnson III digress too much for the Chargers to sign him? They still want him. He's digressed a lot. He's not the same. He's not a lot. Yeah, I mean, and you said, ability wise, he's not the same. He's definitely not the same player as he was. But everybody has such these great and wonderful memories about him playing under Staley with the Rams. And people don't realize once you get to 2024, it's going to be a full 4 seasons ago, right? A full 4 years ago. How many hits has he taken since then? How many injuries, right? Guys are getting older. Like it just doesn't make sense. They keep having these flashbacks of Staley's one good year with the Rams as a defensive coordinator, and now they want to bring all these guys back like it's going to make a difference. Like, and not completely ignoring the fact that that defense had Aaron Donald on it, and there's no Aaron Donald on our defense. So, I mean, it just doesn't, to me, it doesn't make any sense. But that's what's going on. It seems to be going on with the Chargers. They want to bring everybody back who Staley had a good year with in 2020. All of these guys, all of these Rams rejects, the Chargers just want to sign them, and it's not going to make a difference. It's really not going to make a difference at all. But yeah, I agree with you. Andre says we can pay old Mac $30 million, but won't pay, but don't want to pay Ekeler a few $1 million array. Good point. Valid point. Valid point, sir. Valid point. That's a point that can be argued. That is a point that cannot be argued. And even when you look at it from the standpoint too, who is going to affect winning more next year, Khalil Mack or Austin Ekeler? Obviously going to be Austin Ekeler, especially in a Kellen Moore offense, right? If they would be able to use him like the Cowboys used Tony Pollard in the previous 2 seasons, right? Tony Pollard got off. Tony Pollard had over 1,000 yards, and he didn't have that many carries either. His average per carry was high. He was catching the ball out of the backfield. He was their most explosive weapon on offense from start to finish. So to be able to use him in that manner, he would have had Austin Ekeler would have had a big, huge year, and he potentially could have had one. Like I think it would have been his first 1,000-yard rushing year on the ground, right under Kellen Moore if he was going to stay. So I agree with you. That point cannot be argued. When you guys are on the money, those points can't be argued. That can't be argued at all. At all. So yeah, I agree with you 100% there. Yeah, they'll waste it on Khalil Mack, but they won't give it to Austin Ekeler. So definitely a good point there. Definitely a good point. Yeah, Aiden says it too. Yes, hilarious will pay Mack, but not Ekeler. I agree. Definitely agree. Let's see. Nancy says, to be honest with cleanup, they did the goal there. They're just pushing the money back, and I'm afraid that it might blow up in Staley's face. It is going to blow up in Staley's face. That's why they're kind of going wild cowboy. Him and Telesco are going wild this year, this offseason, and they're pretty much doing what the hell they want to do. They're going out on their shields, right? I think that the writing is on the wall for them, and they know it. So they're going out the way that they want to go out. All of the restructures and all of this crap is all for this season. It's all for 2023. This is all in. They know it, and they know, if there's no success, that both of them won't be back. So they're going out the way that they want to go out. Also, what's your opinion on Coupon Tom? Are they going to fire him in 2023? I think so. I think short of a Super Bowl win, I think Telesco and I think Brandon Staley are on their way out. Honestly, I do, because there's nothing else you can do really, right, outside of changing the offensive coaching staff. There's nothing more you can give Staley. There's nothing more. You're giving him a top 5 quarterback. You're giving him all those weapons on defense. They're just not being coached up. That's on him. The Chargers have really, went into their wallets the past couple of seasons. That's something that they've never done before Staley either. So they paid free agents, right? They gave them what they needed to on defense. You give them Justin Herbert, a top 5 quarterback, right? What else can you want as a coach? What else do you need? There's no excuses for him to not succeed now. They even fired the head athletic trainer as well too. So they're gonna have somebody new as far as the athletic trainer goes too, because they feel people are getting hurt too much. Everything's changing. They're giving Staley whatever he wants, and if he can't win with this, he has no business at all being a head coach in the NFL. Just at all, because the Chargers are catering to him. They really are. They're catering to him, and if he can't cut it this year, then damn, it's going to be a very, very, very it's going to be a tough road for him to get back to being a head coach in the NFL. Everyone's saying we need weapons. Forgets we have 7 or 8 picks in this draft. Yeah, but the Chargers normally don't draft weapons in the draft, so we can have a bunch of picks, but they typically don't draft weapons that we need in the draft. Chargers are still in need of a speed receiver. It doesn't seem like they're going to bring Jalen Guyton back. So now there's nobody on the roster who can run faster than a 4.5 as far as the wide receivers go. So now the Chargers, they actually really need a speed receiver. I don't think they're going to sign anybody in free agency. So now they're going to have to go out and look for one. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. This draft has to hit. They have to hit this draft. Um, let's see. I'm trying to let's see here. Trying to catch up on all of the comments that I could. Um, all right. So I think I'm good. Think I'm good here. See, Ricardo says injured Bosa and J.C. Jackson be stealing all the money, yet Ekeler can't get paid. Shameful. The Chargers prioritize defense. They get old guys, get them hurt, and pay them a lot of money, and that's what's been going on. So, yeah. Let's see. Aiden says trading Bosa isn't an option. No one wants that cap hit. Mac is overrated, overpaid. So is Williams and Allen. Don't think anyone would have done that for us. Yeah, agree. I agree. These guys are overpaid, and they have really no trade market unless they're going to. They have no trade market unless they're going to agree to contract. Um, Not necessarily restructures, but just outright taking pay cuts. That's the only way the Chargers can trade these guys to other teams. So if they're going to take pay cuts, and I don't see that for a lot of them. So yeah, it is what it is, right? Okay, so talked about Trey Pipkins, talked about Austin Ekeler. Let's get into the Eric Kendricks signing. Eric Kendricks signs with the Chargers, right? He's obviously very, very talented player, very talented linebacker. He spent his whole career in Minnesota playing with the Vikings. He's been good his entire career. So, I don't want to be, I don't want to seem like I'm being a pessimist about this signing, but I see a lot of people, and I'm not going to crap on this signing. I'm not going to do that at all. But I see a lot of people are really talking this signing up, right? They're talking it up like this was a great signing, and I just don't think it has there's potential, right? Because he is a great player, or at least was a great player, right? So if he is healthy, right, and if he has a lot in the tank, this could be a great signing. Obviously, if he plays great, right, this could obviously be a great signing. I'm not even not even trying to get at that, but this guy is coming off of the worst season of his career in Minnesota. I think a lot of people need to understand this, right? He's coming off the worst season of his career, and this defense, this Staley defense, this Fangio defense, was played in Minnesota last year by Ed Donatell, right? He was their defensive coordinator. Minnesota had one of the worst defenses in the league. They were not able to stop anybody. They were not able to stop the run or the pass. They were pretty damn bad. They were, kind of hovering around where the Chargers were, right? They were kind of similar. And that's the funny thing about it is that both teams ran the same kind of system, right? This is the Fangio defense. Now, what's interesting about this, though, is that when Eric Kendricks was under Zimmerman, right? When he was under Zimmerman in Minnesota for all those years, he was a Pro Bowl linebacker. And Mike Zimmer, he ran that 4-3. He ran that 4-3, and he was a very, very, very good defensive mind. Obviously, as far as a head coach, there's a little left to be desired there. His hatred for Kirk Cousins was funny. You rarely see a head coach hate their quarterback, but he hated Kirk Cousins. And that's probably why he's not there anymore. But as far as defense goes, he's one of the best defensive minds out there, right? Mike Zimmer is a very, very good defensive mind. He ran that 4-3. Eric Kendricks was a star in that 4-3. Mike Zimmer gets fired in Minnesota. They hired the new young guy, right? Kevin O'Connell, whatever his name is, the head coach. He's obviously an offensive head coach. They bring in Ed Donatell. Ed Donatell brings in this 3-4, this Vic Fangio defense, and Eric Kendricks has the worst year of his career. Now, could it be a coincidence? Maybe, right? Could it just be that, he wasn't used to this? He played in one system his entire career. Now you're switching it up on him, so he struggled. Yes, it could be that as well, too. But The way that linebackers struggle in the Staley defense, that kind of worries me, right? It kind of worries me that an older veteran, right, and he's a guy, he might be declining physically, right? I didn't really see it from him this year. He could be declining physically. I do know that he's an older player, right? I think he's in his eighth or ninth year, right? As far as linebackers go, that's getting up there, right? If you're a linebacker, you're hitting every game, you're colliding multiple times a game, sometimes 20, 30 times a game. Your body's not the same as it was when you came into the league, right? We get it, we understand it, we know that. But my thing is that Drew Tranquil really, really, really started to pick up this defense last year, and he was very good and he was very consistent. Were Yes, did he miss some tackles? Yes. Yeah, was he out of position at some points? Yes, right. But I think you can put that on Staley just like you can put it on him, right? These guys have to be placed in a position to make plays. If guys are not placed in a position to make plays, they won't make plays. That's exactly what's going to happen. They will not make plays. So when you look at the Eric Kendricks signing, it is a good signing. That's what they needed to do. They obviously did not want to bring Drew Tranquil back at the whatever price that he was looking for. So they went the cheap route and got a cheap older veteran. Again, this guy is experienced, right? He knows what he's doing. And I get the move. I understand the move. This is a move that had to be made, right? Now, as far as the John Johnson stuff, I think if the Chargers do that, they're just getting ridiculous with it. They're getting ridiculous with it. They just drafted JT Woods in the third round, right? So they're getting ridiculous if they do that. But this move was needed because your middle linebacker, right, the guy who wears the green dot on his helmet, is probably going to move on. So now what you need to do, you need to replace him with a veteran, right? You don't want to go into the draft, have a rookie come in and start calling defenses, right? Have the green dot on his helmet. You want to avoid that at all costs. And I get that, I understand that. And Eric Kendricks is a leader, right? He's had the green dot on his helmet his entire career. So I trust him in that. And he's a very good run defender, and he's a better tackler than Drew Tranquil. But I worry in this defense. I didn't see, and watching tape all last year, I didn't see anything that says Brandon Staley knows what he's doing as far as the linebacker position goes, because he doesn't value linebackers the way that you should. Good defenses, good defensive coordinators always value the linebacker position. You always have at least one guy, at least one thumper, one guy who was able to make a play, one guy who was able to lead, right? One guy who was able to get everybody lined up on defense, right? One guy who was able to kind of be a coach on the field. We haven't had that. We haven't seen that with Staley so far. So if you don't value the linebacker position, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle. Your defense is going to struggle. It doesn't matter who you have up front. You need a linebacker. You need somebody who can at least get everybody lined up. You need somebody who can have that green dot on their helmet and relay whatever the defensive coordinator is telling them, right? You have to have that. And I think veteran leadership at that position matters. So I think Eric Kendricks, I think he fills a hole, but I don't know. I'm not sure how well this could work out, right? I'm not sure how much of an impact it can have. Um, Obviously, I want it to have a huge impact, but I'm not sure. I'm just not sure about it yet. So this is yet to be seen, right? And I'm not going to call this a bad signing at all, but I'm just going to say that this is something that could it could be looked at as a bad move, right? It could be looked at as a bad move. It has a potential for that. So when I'm looking at this, and when I'm looking at the signing, and I'm looking at them going away from Drew Tranquil, I'm looking like, I don't know, man. I just don't know. I thought that they could have brought Drew Tranquil back. I wanted him to come back. It doesn't look that way now. So a lot is to be determined, right? There's still a lot of, again, free agency hasn't even really officially started yet. The start of the new league year starts tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. But I just don't. This has a potential to be bad, especially if Eric Kendricks is a guy who is not healthy. If he's not healthy at some points during the season, things can get bad very quickly at that linebacker position. And Derwin James, as much as we love him, he's not a linebacker. He's not a middle linebacker. He cannot play that for 17 games. He will get injured. Um, he's not big enough to play that. He can come down and he can give some support there at some points, but he is not that guy. He just can't do it. He can't do it for 17 games. So the over reliance on Derwin James, I think probably went towards this signing as well too. So I don't know. It just has the potential to go bad. So again, I think it's a good signing, but this has the potential to go bad. And I would have rather them just spend the money on bringing Drew Tranquil back because he knows what he's doing. He showed that he knows what he's doing in this defense, and I think if he was to come back, I think he would have another good year. So that's all I'm saying. But I understand the move that the Chargers made. I do. I really understand that they had to make this because of salary cap issues. But yeah, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Um, so yeah, let me get to some of these. So Aiden says we should all pray. We should all pray that Staley doesn't keep his job. That keeps us far away from success, but Herbert keeps us from pure failures. That's the worst place you can be in professional sports is mediocrity. You're right. You're right. And I think that's where we are right now. We are a little mediocre right now until we have to fire him. Honestly, there's not going to be any choice. They will be there until they have to fire him and have a fire sale on defense at some point. Excuse me. I'm getting. Oh, my throat is getting a little hoarse. Don't want that there. All right. So yeah, I seen somebody say JT Woods is a bust. So yeah, I'm gonna get to that right now. I'm gonna get to that John Johnson thing. And I haven't seen anything as of yet with John Johnson. I was going to look up anything that I said, but I haven't seen any news as of yet. Let's see, super chat from Christian Hernandez. Thank you. What's going on with Morgan Fox? I don't think Morgan Fox is going to be back, man. I don't think he's going to be back. The Chargers are letting guys walk. It's so far the guys that they are not going to be bringing back because I don't know if you were here from the beginning, but Daniel Popper posted the spreadsheet of how much money the Chargers actually have to spend, and it's a little below $10 million. So the free agents, Drew Tranquil, Morgan Fox, Nasir Adderley, and Kyle Van Noy, those are the four guys that I was, bringing up. I think Nasir Adderley, they're going to let him walk regardless. So even Tranquil, Morgan Fox, and Van Noy, they can't pay all those guys. So I think Van Noy is going to be gone, and I think Morgan Fox is going to be gone. And obviously, I think Tranquil is gone. So I don't think these guys are coming back. I think the Chargers are going to be they're going to be thin on defense next year. From the depth perspective, I mean they kind of already were this year, but I think it's going to be even more glaring next year because of the money and the restructuring and kicking the can down the road. I think they're going to be very, very thin next year on defense. So we're going to see. We're going to see how it shakes out. Oh yeah, I forgot as well too. Coolster 46. Yeah, they're also letting Fehoko. Fehoko is going to be somewhere else as well too. They are they didn't tender him. They were supposed to tender him. They decided not to. Now I think there's still a chance that he can come back and sign with the Chargers if he doesn't agree to a deal with any other team. But I think the likelihood of that is very, very low. I think Fehoko was on like a $800,000 contract. He played well last year, so he's going to be obviously be looking for a pay raise, and that's something the Chargers are definitely not going to do. I think they would bring him back possibly on the same deal. I think that would happen, but he's going to want more money. So yeah, I just don't see that happening. Fajoko's gone as well too. Yeah. Excuse me, I haven't done a live stream in a long time, so my throat is all getting all weak right now. But yeah. So Falco will be gone too. What kind of haul realistically can we get from realistically expect from trading Ekeler at age 20? It's not gonna be a haul. It'll probably be, like I said, either a third round pick or possibly a fourth and a seventh, or like a fifth and a seventh. I don't think the Chargers are going to get a lot for Ekeler. Again, yeah, he is getting up there in age as far as running back. As far as the running back ages are concerned, he's getting up there. So I don't think that he has a robust market, trade market, right? I don't think people are going to give up multiple picks for him. I think he's just going to be a guy you get a third or fourth rounder for. And you got to be happy with it. You're not going to pay him, so you might as well get him out of town. So it won't be a lot. I know that much. I got some. Yeah, thank you. Okay, let's see. Let me see. I'm trying to catch up here. Trying to catch up. Yeah, Matt Feiler has been released. Yeah. Well, Terry, who's giving up as much as a third for Ekeler? Nobody. Like I said, the Darren Waller trade earlier today. Darren Waller is actually older than Austin Ekeler. I think he's 31 or 32. He's in his 30s. He is a tight end. He's a matchup nightmare when he's healthy, but he had injuries last year, and he could easily be over the hill. We don't know. We haven't seen him play that well in a long time. We have no idea. He went for a third rounder today, right? So if you're going to bet on who's going to have the better year next year, is it going to be Darren Waller with Daniel Jones, or if the Chargers trade, let's just say they trade Austin Ekeler to the Detroit Lions, right? Who would have a better season? Austin Ekeler with the Lions, Darren Waller with the Giants. I think you could honestly say, we all would say probably Austin Ekeler. He's going to have more touches. He's going to have more yards. He's going to have more touchdowns. That's worth a third round pick to me, especially when you see a Darren Waller going for a third rounder. You can easily get a third rounder for Austin Ekeler, right? You just have to shop him to the right teams. I think Detroit feels like they're probably maybe they might be an Austin Ekeler type of back away, right, from competing, maybe winning a playoff game, right? Maybe getting to a divisional round of the playoffs, right? They feel like they're close. So when you look at a team like Detroit, when you look at a team like Washington, the Commanders, right? They could use Austin Ekeler, right? He would be an upgrade from what they have in the backfield now. So you just have to shop him to the right teams. It's not about putting him out there and trying to get, get a team that's, super good to give you a third round pick. That won't happen. But if you shop him to the right teams, you can definitely get a third round pick, especially knowing that old injured tight ends are going for third rounders now. Yeah, we can give Austin Ekeler, because Austin Ekeler is going to have a couple more years left. The way that he lifts weights, the way he takes care of his body, he's going to have a few more years left. So yeah, you can definitely give a third rounder for Austin Ekeler. If Darren Waller is going for third rounders, hell yeah, give me a third rounder for Austin Ekeler. I think that is entirely possible. I 100% believe that. Let's see, that's $5 super chat from Brian Stowe. Thank you so much. Thank you for all these live streams. Your info is always spot on. Who do you think will be our starting running back and tight end potentially? Ooh, that's a good one. Well, they haven't. There hasn't been any news, any movement on Gerald Everett. Gerald Everett is still under contract, I believe. So unless he's a surprise cut, then I think Everett is probably the starting tight end. And even if they do draft a tight end in the draft at some point, I think if Everett is still on the team, I think he's a starting tight end. Starting running back, man, I don't even know. To be honest, I don't know. I think right now, if you're just looking at this from the Ekeler standpoint, and you're saying, okay, yes, he gets traded, I think Josh Kelly has the upper hand right now. Just right now, right? Just right now, and I'm just saying it's just right now. Obviously, I think they're going to make a move in free agency, or they'll make a move in free agency or the draft. But I do think that Josh Kelly probably has the upper hand. It just depends on how Kellen Moore feels. Honestly, does he like these guys? Does he find somebody in the draft? Does he like somebody in the draft? Running back, yeah. If I had to bet money, I'd just say Josh Kelly right now. But I can't be too sure. I do know if Everett is on the team, he's going to be starting tight end. But running back is a little different, though. Running back's a little different. Could Isaiah Spiller be the starting running back? Maybe they drafted him in the 4th round last year, right? He's got some skills, but I don't know. I think it just depends on who Kellen Moore liked, what he wants to do offensively. I think a case can be made for maybe Kelly and Spiller to both, or for either one of them to be starting, right? But I don't know. I just don't know. I think they'll make a move as soon as they deal Austin Eckler, and that's assuming that they don't get a player back from him for him. If they trade him to like maybe like a Commanders or something, maybe they say we'll trade. We'll give you Brian Robinson, right? We'll give you a running back. We'll give you Brian Robinson and a fifth rounder for Austin Eckler, right? I think that's something that the Chargers will take, right? If they get a player and a pick back for him, that's something they can take. But I don't know, man. It's just too. It's too the situation is too fluid. There's way too many good backs uh as far as free agency and the draft right now to really determine that. But yeah, I would just say either Josh Kelly or Isaiah Spiller if I had to bet money right now. But that's going to change very soon. Very soon. Um let's see. Somebody said our starting running back would be Bijan Robinson. That would be cool. That would be cool. I would not argue with that. Let's see a super chat from Christian Hernandez. Thank you so much. Can the Mac trade end up being one of our worst trades ever? He's been good, but we could have signed Wilson and have money to sign more guys. Yes. Yes. Capital YES. 100%. This could be a disaster of a trade. And especially this year. This year determines everything. This year determines everything. Just like I said in a previous video that I did, right? He gave you 8 sacks last year, and that is good for the salary that he was on. $8 million, right? So that's $1 million a sack. That ain't bad. You'll take that. Now, you're looking at this year, right? $15 million is his cap hit, $38 million cap hit in 2024, right? So he is not going to be a guy. I don't think he's going to be a Charger in 2024. He's going to get cut. He's going to have to get cut. Too much. That's going to be way too much money. Almost $40 million for a old Khalil Mack. No way, no how. I don't see that happening. But I think this year will determine a lot. It'll determine if this trade was even worth making. Because if he comes out and he has anything less than 8 sacks, anything less than what he did in 2022, this will be a failure. This will fail flat on his face. This will fall flat on his face to trade. And yeah, this will be a failure. This is all going to be on Staley's record. This all be on Tom Telesco's record. Yeah, this would be one of the worst trades ever, I think. And the Chargers honestly are making it worse. They could have cut Khalil Mack this season right before they restructured him. They could have cut him. It would have been, I think, $9 million to cut him now. If they would have waited and designated it a post June 1st trade, they could have got out of it. It would have been a $4 million dead cap hit. They could have been done with this already. They could have said, okay, you know what? We see that you're not the same. Let's just cut our losses now. But they are making this worse, right? They're exacerbating this. And if this is worse, right, this is going to be a function of the Chargers making it worse. It's going to be Telesco. It's going to be Staley keeping this guy around, knowing that he cannot perform the way that he once did, right? But still acting like he can, still pretending like he can. And I think that's what's going to go on this year. Going to be a lot of pretending. There's going to be a lot of bullshitting at the podium. There's going to be a lot of that. Pay no attention to it. Look at the on-field product. Look at the on-field product. A lot of us, a lot of you guys, a lot of Charger fans woke up last year and said, no. That's why a lot of people turned on Staley, because they're tired of that shit. They were tired of being lied to. They're tired of being talked to like you're stupid, like you don't know what you're looking at. Look at the on-field product. These guys aren't making plays. These guys are getting injured and all of this stuff, right? They're not who they are. They're not who we think that they are. So a lot is going to be determined this year. But yes, this could be one of the worst trades ever. One of the worst trades ever. That's a great question, because I was considering making a video about that. So yes, that could be. This could definitely be one of the worst trades ever. 100%. Let's see what's going down. So I was going to cover one more thing before I got out of here. Let me get down here and get to my topic. So, like I said, I was going to cover this potential John Johnson trade. Now, I've already made my feelings known on this, right? I don't think that the Chargers should go out and waste any more money on defense. I just don't. They've spent so much money on defense. They have allocated a lot of resources towards the defensive side of the ball. And the defense last year did not get any better from 2021, just to be honest. They were not as effective as everybody thought that they were going to be, and the run defense got worse. Right? You got more run defenders, but the run defense got worse. And honestly, like it's something that I feel like I've beat to death. Really, the Staley defense, all um everything that he does that leaves more to be desired. Right? How simple the defense looks. It just doesn't seem to work. It's not clicking. Brandon Staley has had 34 regular season games to get this defense in order, and I don't think that he's that great of a defensive coach. And I mentioned it a little earlier, right now in this live stream. If Brandon Staley cannot win with this team, right, and if the Chargers go out and if they get a John Johnson, aging safety who had, one of his best years under Brandon Staley, right, as if that really means anything. If they go out and they get this guy and he ends up hurt or he ends up nining out, this will be a failure. It already has failure written on it. I think if this defense doesn't improve and they're still lackluster, I think this can have a really, really, really big, huge failure written on it in all capital letters. Um, and the thing about this too is that I think Brandon Staley is really in panic mode. He's going to be cool at the podium. You're going to hear him talk you know, all of his good stuff that he always talks. But make no mistake about it, he's in panic mode because this is a crucial season for Brandon Staley. And this is what I want to get at here, right? This is what I want everybody to take away from. If you can't win with Justin Herbert, if you can't win with the stacked defense that you have spent so much money on, right? If you can't win with that, who can you win with? Right. So when you look at his prospects as a head coach, right? Let's say things don't pan out in LA, he gets fired and he's looking to go coach somewhere else. What other organization can he go to? What other organization can he jump into that has a quarterback that's comparable, right, as far as talent to Justin Herbert? You all those jobs are going to be taken, right? Kansas City, you're looking at Buffalo, right? You're looking at Cincinnati, right? All those guys, all the real talented guys, right? Even Jalen Hurts, maybe Philadelphia. Those jobs are taken. Those jobs are taken, and those coaches are going to be there for a while. So where can you go that is going to have a quarterback comparable to Justin Herbert, a GM, an ownership group that's willing to spend so much money on defense to where you don't coach these guys up and your defense doesn't improve from how bad you were the previous year, right? What other place can he go to? So that's why I think Brandon Staley is in panic mode. He is in panic mode right now because this could be the end of his head coaching career in the NFL. It really could be. Now, if that does happen, right? If he does get fired from the Chargers, right? Do I think he could get a head coaching job potentially in the future? Yes. Yes, I do. But I think that he would have to work his way back into it, right? I don't think he would just get fired from the Chargers and have another team hire him immediately as head coach. I don't think that. I don't think that at all because you're supposed to be a defensive head coach. You're supposed to be a defensive guru. And in 3 years, with the bunch of players that you had in Los Angeles, right, when you were with the Rams, right, with the bunch of guys you had in 2020, you still can't improve. What does that say about you as a coach? It says that you are not a good coach. It says that you are riding the coattails of number 10. That's what it says. That's what it says to me, at least. So when I'm looking at this thing and I'm looking at how the Chargers are going to approach this season, right? I'm not shocked by all of the defensive moves. Am I disappointed by it? Yes, I am. Obviously, you don't need more defense, you need more offense. But I understand what Brandon Staley's trying to do. This is his last hurrah, guys. You have to understand this. This is his last hurrah. He is not going to be looked at favorably. If this team does not win a playoff game, he will not be looked at favorably by anybody. Owners, GMs, other coaches. What excuse would he have? What excuse would he have? And you can't use the injury excuse because guess what? They get injured everywhere. Teams get injured everywhere. If you use that as an excuse, you're never ever going to get a head coaching job ever again, because all 32 teams have injuries, and nobody can determine right from day one of the season. Nobody can determine how bad your injuries are going to be. That's something that you just have to deal with, and you have to cross that bridge once you get there. But when you're looking at it from that standpoint, you can understand why the Chargers are going crazy defensively. You can understand why they want to get more and more and more defensively. You can understand that. Now, I do expect the Chargers to address the offense in the draft. I expect, some of the higher draft picks to address the offense. Even if they don't, though, even if they go defense, I would understand. Brandon Staley is going crazy. He's going crazy. He's just going crazy. So, at this point right now, everybody has to understand this guy is really trying. He's not just trying to save his job with the Chargers. He's trying to save his future employment, because the bloom is off the rose with Brandon Staley, right? He's been known. He's a good communicator. He's good at the mic, right? He's good in interviews. He's good doing all that stuff. Good. Very, very good, right? A great orator, too. He can talk with the best of them. But the NFL is a result-oriented business. And if you're not getting results, and if you're not getting better, right, you're being scrutinized, and your job is, being looked at every single day if your team is not getting better. So what does this mean? This means the 2023 Chargers have to be good as hell. They got to win playoff games. Can't just win one playoff game. I think they got to win playoff games in order for him to keep his job. Honestly, I honestly think that. I really, really honestly think that. And I think Tom Telesco is tied to him as well, too. There's just no way to really have this type of stagnation and expect to keep your job with one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. There's just no way. I just don't see it. I don't think this is unprecedented as far as the Chargers go. I don't know if this has happened at other points in the NFL, maybe, but this is unprecedented for the Chargers, and any stagnation this year is going to result in him being fired. And hey, it's a tough business, but this is what it is. It's result oriented. Look no further than Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni is a mess at the podium. He's not that great at the podium. He's not really all that great in interviews. He's I'm not sure where he's from. I don't know if he's actually from Philly or somewhere around that area. I think he's an East Coast guy, but he cusses a lot. He doesn't orate all that well. But he's a hell of a coach. He's a hell of a coach. He got his team to a Super Bowl this year. Improved Jalen Hurts, right? Jalen Hurts was a guy coming out of college who was looked at that he can't really throw the ball. Goes out, has a great Super Bowl, right? Has a great Super Bowl. They don't lose the game because of him. They lose the game because of defense. But he developed him. He got him better. He got this team better. Nick Sirianni is a guy, he deserves all the credit that he gets because he got this team better. Now, he's not great at the podium like Brandon Staley is, but he has improved his team, right? And he has done a good job as the head coach in the NFL. You cannot say that about Brandon Staley. Even though you can say he's good at the podium, even though you can say he's a good communicator, he's a player's coach and all of that stuff, he's just not that guy. He's not the guy that we all thought that he was. And like I said, the bloom is off the rose. We must see results this year. Can't just talk about it. You got to be about it. So to go back to this John Johnson signing, I don't like it if it does happen. We'll see if it does happen. I hope that it doesn't. The Chargers have many holes that they must fill. So hopefully they're smart about it. But I don't know. Just the way that things are going this offseason, I don't count on it. So we'll see what happens going forward. But yeah, I don't like a potential John Johnson signing. I just don't think it's going to make that much of a difference, especially considering the Chargers have wasted valuable resources on that safety position next to Derwin James. They obviously drafted Derwin James. They extended him, rightfully so. But when you look at it, they drafted Nasir Adderley, 2nd-round pick. They let him walk. They didn't re-sign him. Then they drafted JT Woods last year, 3rd-round pick. I don't think he can play. He doesn't look like he can play. He had an awful season, and he didn't even get on the field that much. He played a handful of snaps, and I can classify his season as being awful. Can't tackle, confusing coverage, just not great. So that would mean the Chargers are going to waste more valuable resources on the safety position next to Derwin James, right? Derwin James got his money, and that should be the only safety that you're paying. You shouldn't go out and you shouldn't pay a John Johnson. I just don't agree with it. If you want to fill that position, go back in the draft and find somebody, maybe find an undrafted free agent. I don't know. There's other options, but going out and signing another safety is just not a smart thing for me. So I'm completely out on this move altogether. Got a $5 super chat here from Julio. You right, the Chargers already signed Eric Kendricks, a linebacker, and Trey Pipkins, a right tackle, so they shouldn't spend anything else. Yeah, and they shouldn't. They really shouldn't. They should. This money should be going to offensive line depth, but they're going to waste it on the safety. And yeah, it is. This is who they are, man. But like I said, Staley is in desperation mode. He's in desperation mode at this point. So this is what is going to happen. And the next coach and the next GM are going to have to deal with the wreckage that they leave. So it sucks, but hey, it is what it is. Brian Stowe, $2. Thank you for that. Thoughts on Davis and Parham. Yeah, Donald Parham was not tendered, so he's going to be a free agent. Like I said, there's a chance that they can sign him again, but I don't know. He seems like he might go to. I don't know. He's 6'8", so I can see a lot of teams really, really trying to get him, especially if you have a team that needs help in the red zone. I think he could be a hot target. He'll be relatively cheap on the open market, but I don't know if the Chargers can pay him what he wants right now. So, yeah. And then Davis, Michael Davis. Michael Davis is still under contract, so he'll be around for this year at least. So, but yeah, I think Parham is out the door. Let's see. Christian Hernandez, if we can sign one more guy, who should we get? Offensive line help. Always offensive line depth. We need that. We definitely need offensive line. I'll say it many times. We need depth in the middle and a swing tackle. So that's who this money should be spent on. So yeah, I'm not holding out hope, but that's what the Chargers need. That's a necessity at this point right now. Let's see. Hopefully, I'm all caught up. Let's see. Did I get caught up? Let's see. Storm Norton has been cut, right? I don't know. I don't think so. I haven't heard anything. He should have been. He should have been cut last year. But again, man, some of these roster decisions don't make sense, and that's why the play on the field didn't make sense. So. Yeah, he should be cut. If he's not cut now, I think he'll be cut in training camp. I don't think he's gonna make it. He's not an NFL player. He's not an NFL tackle. They know it. I don't know. Hopefully, he's been saving his money because I just don't see him. I don't see him as a NFL player. Let's see. Am I caught up? Derek Ford. Hey, Derek. What's up, man? What's up? Yeah, you must have seen the podcast I did with the Boat Bros, huh? Yeah, that's anybody don't know my name. My name is Derek as well too. I spell it a little different from Derek Ford right here, but yeah, my name is Derek too. So, yeah, and I don't give my name out on here too much, and it's not that I'm trying to stay private or anything. It's just that when I was starting this up, like I don't know, I just didn't think I had to have a name that says that, like, you're not scrolling through my page wondering who I am or wondering what I'm trying to do, right? I can't just go by my name, so that's why I came up with some of these names. But my name is Derek for anybody who doesn't know. So yeah, I'm not trying to stay all private. Just in case you guys are wondering, that is my name, Derek, or you can call me Skin, whatever. That is my name. So, pretty much all I got for this one. My voice is failing me here. I haven't done a live stream in a long time, so I feel like Michael Irvin on First Take. I'm sweating and my voice is getting out. So yeah, but I'll be back again with probably another live stream. There's too much news going on to just drop videos. So I mean, man, I mean, it's just damn. There's so much news going on. So yeah, I'll be back. I'll probably try to do another live stream, possibly this weekend, depending on what happens. The official league year starts on tomorrow. So probably another live stream, man. Probably just another live stream on this weekend. Apex Prowler, shout out. Thank you for the super chat. I just call you real. Yeah, that too. Yeah. I went with real sports updates too. Let's see. Am I back? Am I back? Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, man. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. My browser just started to refresh out of nowhere. That was weird. Sorry about that. Um, but yeah, Apex Prowler, shout out, man. Thank you for the super chat. Yes, I was real at some point. So yes, LA should resign tight end Hunter Henry. He ain't going anywhere. He's still with the Patriots, so he ain't going anywhere. They gotta go in another direction. But sorry about that. I don't know what happened. My browser refreshed out of nowhere. That was kind of weird. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with this, but yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it here, guys. My voice is giving out. I don't want to sound hoarse or anything like that on this stream, but I'll be back probably this weekend. Probably possibly a Saturday, right? So I can have more people join me here. So possibly a Saturday afternoon for another live stream. I'm gonna try to drop as many videos as I can throughout the week. Still got some NFL draft stuff to go over and obviously free agency stuff. So definitely gonna go over that. But if there's a big news dump like there was yesterday, I'm gonna just live stream because it's easier to cover and I don't have to edit and chop things up the way that I normally do. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Adam F. Good stream. Thank you. I appreciate it for joining me. Really appreciate it. It's kind of hard to do these like outside of the season, but when you have so much news after free agency, after big moves are being made, then it's very easy to cover this in the live stream. So enjoyed it, had a lot of fun. So yes, I will be back probably on Saturday. Yeah, so we'll be back on Saturday to talk about some more stuff. And until next time, guys, thank you guys so much for joining me. Appreciate all the super chats. Appreciate all the engagement. Really appreciate it. And until next time, man, I'll go ahead and see you guys on Saturday. So till then, enjoy, be safe, and see y'all then.